say you got 10% utilization. You charge something and your utilization goes up to 17%. Still well below what they ask you of, 30%. And, that's like the holy grail where you want to get your credit score to start moving in the positive direction. You go from 10 to 17, your score is going to go down. Yes, it's going to go down. So even if you start low and you just go up a little bit and you don't meet that, 30% threshold, your credit score can go down. I can't tell you how many points it can go down. It can go down, 20 points, maybe only 10 points, maybe it goes down 30 points. I'm not exactly sure, but yes, your credit score will go down. So you increase your debt with those credit cards, your score is going to go down. All right. Now, conversely, if you start paying your debt down, your score goes up. So even in this same scenario, you were at 17%, still well below that 30% that they asked for. You probably got a nice bump when you got to 30%. And then the lower you go, your credit score starts to go up. So you're at 17%, you put enough down that now it's down to 10%. Your credit score is going to go up. So the lower that debt, then the higher your credit score is going to be. All right. So your credit card debt is 30% of your overall score. It's the second highest of the 5 pillars. 30% of your credit score is dealing with your credit card debt. So if you can manipulate, impact, make movement here, it has a direct impact to your credit score. I told you guys before, maybe just last week, about my credit score. So my credit score is whatever it is, 863, right? And how I got there to 863. How did I get past 850 and whatnot? What happened? But I told you the previous month before, my credit score went down. It was 839, and it went down 23 points to like 813 because of a debt issue. I actually paid some things off. I used a different card, but I paid 2 cards off at the same time, and it didn't all reflect at the same time. So it goes to show you that I looked like I had balances on 3 cards, which I really only had a balance on 1 card. But because I increased my credit utilization, it brought my score down. And even though my credit utilization was still under 30%, it brought my score down. So these are the kinds of things that impact your score. You got a question? You got a question about something that might impact your score? You give me a call. Do not hesitate. 312-600-5855. Now, that's all I have right now for that. But let me tell you about this. So last year, I think it was, maybe 2 years ago now, Equifax had a breach, right? So they had a breach with their data. Over 143 million people had their data compromised. So some of it was stolen. They actually got your social security number. Some people, they actually got your credit card numbers. They get your birth dates. They have all this information from you. And so that was the Equifax breach. Within that breach, what Equifax had to do was offer credit monitoring. So they offered free credit monitoring and a website so you can check and see if you were impacted, meaning did whoever hacked them actually get your info, and whether you were impacted or not. They gave everybody free credit monitoring for like a year or whatever it was. So within that breach, and when you do something like this, the government says, hey, you have violated the public trust, basically. And so a lot of things come with that. So you have responsibilities because you hold all the information to people. You got their social security numbers, their birthdays, who they owe, who they don't owe, all of these things. So you got to be responsible. And since they were hacked, they're going to be settling with the government. And of course there'll be fines and things of that nature. They're saying, and we will know on Monday, supposedly, the actual figure, that Equifax will be fined $650 to $700 million for that particular breach. Some of that money belongs to you. So yes, some of that money belongs to you. So if they got your information, you were compromised, you were listening to the show back then, you went on Equifax and you checked and you did all of those things, you may be getting a portion of that. Now don't get too happy, because you're probably not going to get enough to pay off any bills for real. You're probably not going to get that with 143 million people actually impacted that we know of. 143 million people impacted. But once the government gets their piece and the lawyers get their piece and all the people in between, yeah, maybe you get a check for a couple bucks. Maybe you get a check for $2. Seriously, a couple bucks. Maybe you get a check for $200. Who knows how it's going to shake out and when that might be coming to you and if you are eligible to receive it. But if you want to know if you're eligible to receive it and when that information come out, what are you going to do? You're going to come back right here to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I'm going to tell you and keep you updated on what's going on with this payout for Equifax, for the Equifax breach. All right. Again, $650 to $700 million. Again, 143 million people were impacted. So you might get a cut. You might not get a cut. But if you want to know where to go, how to figure it out, see what's going on with your stuff, again, you got to come back to the 800 Credit Score Man Show, and I will update you when that comes along. So again, thanks you guys for coming in, listening to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. Come back next week. 2:30 Eastern Time, wherever you get the podcast, all right? You know how I got to do before I get out of here. Kobe, Cameron, Carter, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm out.